Happy New Year to you, the fight fans and the listeners of BTR Boxing Podcast. I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to the sponsors for this podcast. You know who it is? It's Bear Attack Boxing. Now, Bear Attack Boxing, relatively new on the scene, looking to progress even further going into 2019 with their high quality boxing gloves. If you go onto their website, which is www.btboxingpodcast.co.uk, you'll be able to find all their brilliant products. You'll be able to find what's coming up in the future for them, who endorses them, people like Tyrone McKenna and Tommy McCarthy, and there's going to be much more to come from them in 2019. So give them a follow on Twitter at Attack Boxing and on Facebook at Bear Attack Boxing. And from the 1st of January in the new year, use the special code BAB 2019 code directly for you, the listeners, to get a discount on the high quality boxing gloves that they sell. So you know where to find them: www.btboxingpodcast.co.uk. Welcome fight fans to episode 3 of Ones to Watch, and today we've got another Siesta promoted prospect on our hands. We've got Wesley Tenacious Davis, the Welsh international Tri-Nations competitor, who's going to be speaking to myself. We're going to be talking about his career, his trips over to America, his first professional fight, getting the bus to Mexico, would you believe that? And we're also going to be talking about what his plans are for his career, what he does outside of boxing, and just little things like who his favourite fighters are and what fights he'd be looking forward to in 2019. So follow us on Apple Podcasts and follow us on Podbean. You can also find us at BTR Boxing Pod on Twitter and BTR Boxing Podcast on Facebook as well. Go on there, give us a subscribe, follow us. It really, really helps us. We really appreciate it. So here it is, Ones to Watch, episode number 3 with Wesley Tenacious Davis. Okay, so I'm pleased to say I've got Wesley Davis on the line. Wesley, nice to finally speak to you. Nice to meet you. I know it's over the phone, but it's nice to actually be able to have a conversation with you about your career, and it's great to have you on.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, it's good to be on the show.
Well, we got you on the show today to obviously talk about yourself, your background, your amateur background, and your start to your professional career and where you sort of see yourself going. So really, I wanna take it back to the beginning, really, and I want to find out what it is that got you into the sport of boxing first and foremost.
Well, getting into boxing, I'm a kid from Wales, and back in the day, being in Wales, I'm moving around a lot, going to new schools and stuff all the time. And me being black was not a good thing over there, because I was like the only black kid in my school.
Right.
So a lot of kids are like, oh, this black kid trying to act tough, and he thinks he's hard or whatever. So a lot of them would target me. I'd ended up fighting, but I didn't know how to fight. So I might come to the fact, like, I out-punch them one day. The next day they come to my house and they try and beat me up again. Next day their friend wants to fight me, or, things like that happen all the time. So my mom said, you know what, let's go to the boxing gym. So I started boxing, started going there every day. It kept me busy, kept me from going out, hanging out with any people on the streets and stuff. And then, after that, I just took off. And eventually, no one wanted to fuck with me anymore because I beat someone up real bad. After I actually started boxing and fighting, it actually helped me a lot in life.
So racism obviously is something that is happens in every single sport. I mean, obviously football, it's still going on now. They talk about it quite recently with Raheem Sterling, and like you say, you go into a town or a village where you go to a school where you're literally like the only black kid in the school, and it kind of makes you an automatic target straight away. And it's horrible that these things have to happen to people. But you've gone there to the boxing gym and said, you know what, this is it, we've had enough, we're going to do something about this. And you kind of cut the head off the snake, so to speak, like you say, when you had that altercation with somebody where literally then nobody would mess with you after that. And then you get into boxing and it teaches you a discipline. And was it at that point, once you started really getting into it, you thought to yourself, you know, actually, I'm not that bad at this, I might start going further with it?
Yeah, like I started getting into it. It just something like it gave me that feeling, like it gave me a great feeling when I was a kid. Like that was my place to go. That was all I wanted to do. You know, that was like boxing is not a comfort zone, but that was like my comfort zone, even though it's a boxing gym and everything. That's where I go. That's where I went to go, you know, after school or whenever I wanted on weekends. I'd go there. That's where I spend all my time at, you know, and that's where I get, you know, I get a lot of love and stuff from the coaches and stuff, and
respect
I
as well.
I actually was like getting good at it, and I could tell, like, I was knocking people out and stuff, and I was like, oh, well, you know, I could take it further. So I just kept on to it. I wasn't serious at the beginning. I wasn't serious because I wasn't that good where you're like, oh, yeah, you win all your fights or whatever. Because my first couple of fights, hit and miss. Win, loss, that kind of shit. And then, you know, as I got 15, 16, that's when I started, like, 16 is when I started, like, winning most of my fights. And started, like, taking it serious, training twice a day, every day. That's when I started really, like, saying, like, look, training 3 times a week is not, you're not really like gonna help you win any fights. And I just decided to take it seriously.
So you've had a bit of a storied amateur career, and obviously I've done a little bit of research on it, and I know you was involved obviously in the Tri-Nations tournament as well. But tell us a little bit more into that. Tell us a little bit more. What point was it you decided, actually, you know, I'm getting really good at this, I'm going to go into the amateur side of boxing and progress from there, and talk about how it all went and what happened?
Okay, so we started fighting amateur. Obviously, my first fight, I actually won it. If you watch it, it's on YouTube still, actually. I won it. I fucked him up so bad. I hurt him so bad. And it's the third round. And I was getting him standing counts every single round. And because I had a busted nose, and the referee thought I broke my nose, and then he ended up stopping the fight 30 seconds left to the bell at the end of the third round. So I was devastated over that. And then my coach took me back to the gym and said, you know what, Wes, we're going to go all the way up to his show, and you're going to knock him out on his show. And he said, okay, get ready. January, you're going to his show. We went to his show, second round, I stopped him. So that's how it started. And then the other fights after that, like hit and miss. I wasn't really taking it serious. I'd eat whatever I want. I wouldn't even make weight. I wouldn't do stuff that boxers would do. I've gone on the streets and stuff. I was smoking weed. I just wasn't serious. And then when I got to 16, that's when I started getting serious and actually decided to go to the championships and stuff like that. And actually, when I was 18, I went to the Three Nations. I fought Muhammad Ali. Even then, that fight wasn't like, I wasn't even prepared for it, you know. I had a 2-week notice from, not even a 2-week, a 1-week notice from the Welsh camp that they said, oh, you're going to fight in the Three Nations, your name's on the list. I was like, okay, so you're going to pick me for the Three Nations. And so now I've got to figure out how I'm going to get down from 62 kg to 52 kg in a week. And so I started doing ketosis diet, and I started taking diuretics and stuff, trying to get my weight down.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even in shape. So the next goal of this is just to make weight, just to get the fight. So I went into the fight. My pee was actually like, it was brown. It was brown color before the fight. And the coaches and my teammates and stuff, they was like, oh, I don't know about, they was like saying, I don't know about Wesley, he don't actually look too good, you know? And that was before the weigh-in. So I weighed in, I made weight and everything. The next day, obviously I put on about 4 or 5 kg just overnight, just because this is not my weight. And then I wasn't in shape to fight. And it went 3 rounds, he won decision. And that was it then. That's like, after that part of my career, the Welsh team then didn't decide to keep me on the team because they didn't really think I'd be able to make weight anymore and stuff like that. Like, the reasons like that. So I was kind of left in the like black hole. So I just sat at home. I had a lot of family issues going on and stuff. So it come to a point where I reached out to my coach in Vegas and I went to go stay out with him. So I stayed out with him again. And then I trained over there for little undercard, Golden Gloves shows and stuff like that. I was doing actually really good because I was really disciplined and focused over there. Like, we'd train twice a day, we'd have tough sparring. Everything would be like up a notch. Everything was like serious and everything was, I had a proper camp for every fight, even though it's amateur. So I started doing really well. I moved up like 3 or 4 weight classes. Got bigger, got stronger. And then actually come back to UK and tried to turn pro over here. And things didn't go the way I wanted it to be. And I saved up my money and I decided to go to Mexico and catch a bus to Mexico and get a fight over there because I've been in contact with promoters over there. So I jumped over on a bus to Mexico from Vegas, and then I fought in Mexico the next day, won by first round knockout, and caught the bus back and just went back to UK at the end of this year.
Wow.
And then I come in contact with Al and stuff, and you know, he's been really busy. So I got told by my friend that he might be interested in working with me, and I was actually like, oh, okay, that's good. But he has been really busy. And then when I actually met with him, and he said, yeah, he got a fight for me, and I'm fighting the next show, March 16th, in Bracknell. So that's my first fight with him.
So you've been from one side of the world to the other side of the world in a short space of time. Going back to when you was over, obviously in the USA, you was over there doing the Golden Glove stuff. How different is it over there, boxing wise, to what it is over here? I mean, the amateur system wise, because they have the Golden Glove stuff, which is different, isn't it, to what we do over here?
The amateurs over there, I say, because it's boxing, everything's pretty similar, but they don't like to take the head guards off over there, even though if you're senior, they don't like to take the head guards off unless you're fighting in an international tournament. But other than that, it's pretty similar, but if you turn up to a show, it's not going to be like, it's not that, okay, someone's within 10 pounds of you, you're gonna fight them because they just mix and match whoever. It's just they don't care about anything experience or anything like that. Just mix and match and he's 8 pounds heavier than him. Okay, let's do it. Like that's it really. Well, over here they actually try and match people closer to the weights and stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit more regulated over here in that respect, isn't it? That you kind of get people closer to the weights as opposed to, like you say, anything up to 10 pounds difference. Well, you was over there. I believe you went and spent some time over at the Mayweather gym, which must have been quite an experience for you at such a young age.
Yeah. I started going to the Mayweather gym. I was doing pads. I was training over there. I actually knew a lot of fighters before I even went there. So, like, I caught up with them. Hang out. I actually hanging around with a lot of people from there. So, it's actually good to see how they come from the amateurs in their countries. Or, let's say, for example, I was training with a few Russians and stuff like that, and I've been around them, and I see how they done in the amateurs, and how they're turning pro and stuff. And yeah, I had a lot of sparring and things like that, which actually which helped me as well. It's a lot of experience. Everything's just experience for me. It's all experience in life, in boxing, everything.
Did you bump into any notable names over there in the Mayweather gym?
Well, I used to be a sparring partner for Devin Haney.
Who's quite a big prospect at the moment as well,
yeah. I used to spar him a lot for a lot of his camps. In like 1 or 2 years ago, I used to spar him a lot. And then I was with Jesse Vargas. I was actually part of the team, like for the Saddam Ali fight and the Pacquiao fight. So I was being around him nearly every single day, running the mountains with him, Mount Charleston. I was training with him. I was doing drills with him and stuff like that. Like, I was actually training with him and stuff. So, it's actually a lot of things I could get into, but it's actually a lot of things I can get into. So that's basically the main points to it.
Right, so it sounds like you had a really, really good learning experience being in with guys like Jesse Vargas and obviously Devin Haney. Like I just said, I know he's a very big prospect over there at the moment, and I don't think he's as widely regarded by many fans over in the UK, but he is a huge prospect in America, so I expect a lot of people will start to see of him in the next 12 months. So you've had a great experience over in Vegas. Now you're back here with Al Siesta, and I spoke to Al last week, and he came on our first series of the promoter life, and he was telling me about the ups and downs of being a promoter, but he was also importantly telling me that he likes to really closely match his fighters. He doesn't want it to be a complete mismatch on his cards.
Oh yeah. So okay, my first fight wasn't so much with the great record. Like, let's say in boxing, most people, the first couple of fights, I don't really expect someone in the start of their career to take fights which are like 50 or 60-40, that type of thing. They normally take fights which is highly in their advantage. Like a journeyman who's just coming there just to take a check. But Al's works a lot different. He likes to actually have competitive fights. He won't waste his money and just like spend his money and see you knock out someone who's supposed to get knocked out anyway. No, he's like, he wants to have an entertaining fight. He wants to put on a good show. He wants to test you. He wants to see where you're at. So yeah, he's set me up with a pretty good fight for March 16th. But I'll be ready, and I'm not worried about it.
So you're going into your second professional fight then on March the 16th, and it's going to be, like you say, hopefully a great year for you. And you said earlier about being really active, and ideally if Al puts sort of 3 or 4 shows on a year, you want to be out on them. But would you also consider, if he was able to get you on fights on other cards across the country, you'd also consider being even more active, as in like maybe 5-6 fights in a year?
Yeah, of course, I'd definitely consider that. I'm open to fights all year round. Like, I try to stay inside the gym all year round, even though I'm not posting on Instagram and stuff like that. It doesn't mean I'm not in shape or in the gym, because I'm always in the gym. I'm always training. I'm always, like, staying in some type of shape, just in case it's coming around the corner. And, yeah, I'd love to fight all year round. I don't see why not.
And going back to 2019, we've just literally come into the year, and for this year, what would you say would be your immediate realistic goals?
My goal would be to get these fights out the way. I think Al's got 6 shows scheduled, so get six fights this year. That'd be a big goal. And the next goal for this year, we'll try and get the rankings in the UK. It's not a lot of people in my rankings right now, so it's like 47 people, 48 or something like that.
What weight are you? What weight are you campaigning at?
Featherweight.
Right. So yeah, like you said there isn't a great depth to the division, is there, domestically?
No, there's not a lot. But when you get in the top 10, things like that, that's where it's all at, really.
What did you make of the? Oh, sorry to cut you off there. What did you make of the Warrington versus Frampton fight just before Christmas?
I think Frampton's coming to the end of his career. So that's what I can say for him. He's coming to the end of his career. Warrington's like more hungry, more strong. He's actually physically very strong, even though his knockout ratio isn't that high. A lot of people don't give him credit for that, but he actually is very strong. So I think he hurt him early, and after that, the whole fight just went backwards for Frampton. Like, his legs are gone. If you watch closely, his legs are gone all the way through the fight. He's just on survival mode.
And who would you say, inspiration-wise, in the fight game at the moment, would be your biggest inspiration being in the sport?
I would say Selby is a big motivation because he's from Wales. He come from nothing. He started fighting on small hall shows in Wales. Like, no one ever gave him a shot. Then, out of nowhere, he got the opportunity to fight with Smith. I sat at home watching TV, and I saw him come in as an underdog against Smith, and he knocked Smith out, even though he is a weight fighter. He's supposed to come to take an L. He knocked him out, and then he started, like, after that fight, he started elevating all again for the levels, win the European title, world title. He just made it from nothing, really. No one really gave him a shot. He just had to, like, work with what he was given with.
Yeah, exactly. And he obviously he had a tough fight against Warrington earlier on in 2018, and hopefully we get to see him back soon. There's talk of him moving up, isn't it? It's a super featherweight that he was struggling a little bit of the weight.
He's very big for featherweight, so it's like he's been at featherweight for years. So I'm surprised he could even still make it. It sucks all the power out of you if you drain yourself to make weight. You won't be able to feel no power. So I think it's good that he's moving up in weight because he can do a lot. He can do a lot more damage.
So going back to yourself then, outside of boxing, you was just telling me before we started recording actually that you're also working as well. You do shift work at the moment to obviously help fund the career, because being a boxer isn't just about getting paid set fees all the time. There's a lot of guys like yourself out there that actually have to go to work, don't they, and earn a crust as well as train.
Trust me, it's so hard. It's like, if I had a choice to be a lawyer or something instead, I'd rather be a lawyer. Like, but I'm a boxer, so that's what I'm good at. But you have to just sacrifice everything. You're gonna have to go through a lot of hard shit daily. You're gonna have to, like, it's not easy because you're gonna have to work all night. You're gonna have to give up sleep throughout the day. You're gonna have to train. You got other stuff in your life you gotta worry about as well. It's just it's gonna be a lot on your plate being a boxer and not having no support, really. It's just me. I have to look after myself. I have to put food on my own table. I have to, make sure I work at training.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, it leads me on really nicely to the next little part, which would be talking about getting sponsorships for your professional career. I'm not aware if you have any or not. You can tell us if you do. If you don't, where could people find you to get in touch with you if they wanted to put a sponsor in place with you?
You can get in touch with me on any of my social media. Is DAVIS, so Wes Davis. And then I've got the Canada CBD oil. They sponsor me. They give me CBD products, and KO Official, they're sponsoring right now. We're working on actually getting clothes made with different designs on them. So we're just working on that right now. But other than that, I've got one sponsor coming in. I haven't really got like that sealed yet. So still working on it.
So basically, if anybody out there listening to this interview with yourself wanted to get in touch and was interested in your story and helping you take your career a bit further forward as it goes along, then they can get you on social media and obviously drop you a message and chat to you that way.
Yeah. It'd be easy to find my social medias. It's just Wesley Tenacious Davis or WEZZ Davis. That's it.
Cool. So a couple of little fun questions before I let you go and get back on with it, because I know you've got to go to work very soon as well. So in terms of boxing in general at the moment, Wes, who would you say your favourite fighter is?
I don't really have a favorite fighter, to be honest. I don't. I like a lot of fighters. I study a lot of fighters that I see. I don't just say like one fighter is perfect, because no fighter is perfect. So I see certain things that each fighter do, which is actually very great, and I try to take that. I take little bits of each people's games, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So I have a lot of fighters which I actually like. So I just don't have a favorite right now.
Fair enough. On the fence a little bit, but I understand. I totally understand. There's so many great fighters in the world today. Boxing's thriving, isn't it? And you can't really. If you ask me the same question, I couldn't give you an answer, to be honest, because there's too many of them. There's you've got your Lomachenkos, you've got your Usyks, you've got your Tyson Fury's performance last year, so there's too many of them to even sort of think about. But going on to fight wise, is there any particular fights in the boxing world you'd want to get made this year, as in you'd want to see them as a fan?
I want to see Luf fight Conor Ben.
Interesting.
Because Lufa. I've been seeing him talk about it for a while. I've seen other people trying to get the thing made. Why not? It's a good fight. Why not get Lufa fight Conor Ben?
It's a good fight, and it kind of feels like, because of obviously Conor Ben's name and the platform he's on, he's kind of jumping the queue a little bit to get to sort of domestic title fights. That's what it feels like to me.
If Conor Ben's looking for a last-minute replacement or opponent for one of the shows, if he's looking for an opponent for one of his shows, then why not pick Lufa?
Hey, we never know. You never know what might happen. But I'll tell you what, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you and get to know you a little bit more about your background, your story, where you've been, your travels, your debut, going to Mexico on a bus to go and make your professional debut. It's a story and a half to sort of talk about in the future. But it's been a pleasure to get you on. And is there any last words or any thanks you'd want to give before we call it an evening?
Thanks to Al for letting me on the team and everything. Thanks to support me. A lot of people who I've crossed paths with as well. Everyone knows what role they play. So I don't even have to shout people out. It's just thanks to everyone, really.
Real well. I'll tell you what, it's been a pleasure having you on. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I am really happy to see where you're going to go over the next 12 months. I'm pretty excited to see you in action again soon.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Not long now, only 2.5, 3 months until I'm back in the ring.
And we look forward to it. Thanks for coming on, Wes.
Thank you.
So there you go, guys. Wesley Davies, promoted by Al Siesta, back out on the 16th of March in Bracknell. You want to get at him on social media for tickets if you are local and listening to this episode, or if you're in the surrounding areas, just holler at him on social media. So I really hope you've enjoyed this episode of Ones to Watch with Wesley Tenacious Davies. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, on Podbean, Stitcher, Player FM, all the rest of them. You know where to find us, and at BTR Boxing Pod and Beyond the Ropes Boxing Podcast on Facebook as well. So I really hope you've enjoyed it. Leave us a comment, share it around social media, and until next time, see you later, fight fans.